Okay, we're live. Hey, how's it going? How's it going? Welcome, welcome. It is another day where we're talking everything and anything around real estate. And I've got Joe. Joe, how's it going?
Hi, TJ. Very well yourself.
Awesome stuff. So, for some of you, you've never been here. This is your first time. My name is Taurai Jack, and I am here to talk to you about anything and everything around real estate. That's what we do. On a Monday evening, I come out, and in most cases, I might have Joe, I might have someone else. But it is today that we are going to be talking to Joe, and we're talking about real estate in South Africa. More specifically, we're going to be talking about how you can invest in properties in South Africa. And a lot of people actually think that investing in properties in South Africa has some form of risks, right? Some form of risks. And I want to assure you that just waking up alone, it has its own risks. You know, if you're just getting out of bed without having doing anything at all, there is risk. However, you need to understand that as you go out of the day, as you go out and do different things, you can mitigate risks, you know? That's why we don't walk anymore in the streets. We might just get bumped by a car. We are in the car, so it's mitigation of risk. And there's many ways of mitigating of risk. All right, so today, let's jump into it. Joe, how's been your day, and how is the fundraising going?
Yeah, TJ, it's been a long day. We got up very early this morning, and Pas is quite a cold place in the winter, but it's been a hectic day. Putting up our investors, and constantly being on the phone, answering questions, and
Right.
really entertaining a lot of questions, from the
Awesome
guys.
stuff.
It's really been worth
Awesome.
it, because we actually transferred a lot of knowledge to our investors, and then that's
Awesome
exactly what
stuff.
I.
Awesome stuff. Okay, good. I really like that. So for some people that don't know, Joe here is our designated fund manager, and I'm going to ask Joe. Joe, what is a fund manager? What do you do?
Yeah, as a fund manager, I'm mostly responsible for the compliance of the fund,
Mhm.
keeping us regulated and compliant, and making sure that that FSB number that's been allocated to us is actually worth it. That's my role and my involvement. And also there's a strategy. Every fund has got a strategy. So we follow a close strategy to invest in property and only in certain types of properties. And I'm there to make
Mhm.
sure that we're keeping to those guidelines and those rules. And that gives our
Okay.
investors confidence that we're doing what we said we're going to do. And that's mostly my role in the fund.
Okay. Good stuff. Um, Now, for some people, you might not know, we are a section. M5 Property Addicts is a Section 12J registered company. And some people might not know, Joe, what is a Section 12J. They might be thinking, oh, okay, but what does this mean for me? What is a Section 12J?
Well, yeah, TJ. So Section 12J is, we have mentioned this before, but it's a company that is registered under the government's initiative for a company, a tax benefit for investors that you can utilize if you're a Section 12J company. So we've got a special registration to be a Section 12J investment fund, and
Yeah.
that enables any investor to actually get back their taxes and also invest in the fund, and we grow their capital for them within the fund. So yeah, that's what a Section 12J is. It's there for job creation at the end of the day. So all the properties we buy with investors' money get utilized for we do appoint individuals to work at the properties, and they in that way we're generating more job opportunities for the country, and that's the reason why government has initially started with Section 12J, is to grow the economy, and that's exactly what we're doing.
I was going to ask you that question, Joe. You have actually answered the question that I wanted to ask you to say, look, we all know that SARS is mandated. Their job is to collect taxes. But in this case, you are actually saying that in the Section 12J, SARS, the same taxman who's mandated to recoup taxes from everyone, whether you're a company or you're a business, whether you're a trust, the taxman is supposed to get taxes from you. But in this case, it's the other way around. SARS is giving back, is giving a refund to the people. And the reason why I was going to ask of you is that why would they want to do that? And you have just covered all of it. You know, it's for job creation. If they are there to help you to create jobs, they have more people to collect from, isn't it?
Yeah, so the whole idea is that we help them create jobs, and you know, the type of jobs we help create is long-term employment, and
Right.
you know, that's exactly what a country wants. You know, they want people to be employed for a long period of time, so they can, you know, they can generate some taxable income from those individuals, and that's really how we're helping the government, and we're sort of in a partnership, if you want to think about it like that. Is that we help them grow the economy. They help us by, supporting our investors to give back their taxes. It's a win-win sort of situation.
A lot of people don't know about this Section 12J, Joe, even though it is only a few weeks away from closing down. And I've seen people saying that this is a scam. I've seen people saying that this is not true. I have seen people saying that it can't be done in South Africa. And yet this thing is literally 2 weeks away from closing down.
Yeah.
Have you come across anyone who's actually just said this is a scam, or, you know, this thing does not exist? And what is the feedback that we can give them there? Because whether they want to believe it or not, the other day I said to someone, look, if you don't believe what it is, it's okay. You don't need to believe it for it to be happening. It is happening. Rich people have been utilizing this. In the beginning, when the Section 12J was created, people with only R1 million could invest. So which meant that people who are like you, who potentially can't even afford 100,000, you were thinking that it's a scam. So it's not even for you. They were not entertaining you. But we have gone and we've pushed for the investment to start as low as 50,000, and you still seeing this as a scam on 50,000. I walked away and I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't help you. I mean, let me go and help those people that want to be helped, people that know that these things are there, because you can't help everyone. I think that's the one thing that I've realized in life. But to those people that don't know this thing at all, and they go and ask their uncle and their aunties, people who know nothing about investing, and their aunties and their uncle says, no, it's a scam. What do we have to say for them? Because these people are living around us. They are in our communities.
Yeah. So what any investor out there, the one thing you need to consider is that, you know, for you to put your money into a financial product, you need to ask your first question need to be, are they FSB registered? So that means that we've been regulated.
They've got a new name though, Joe, the FSB.
Yeah, it's still the Financial Services Board, but it's FSCA registration.
Right.
Yeah, so you need to be registered to provide financial products. So there's a lot of individuals and there's a lot of opportunities to invest. But the first question is, guys, are you FSB registered? Because what that means is that government has got to say, are you doing everything above board? Are you being regulated? Are you being audited? Are you keeping to your promises? How are you going to pay out to your investors? Those are all very important questions. So you know, if you ask around your family members or your if you have a financial planner or anything like that, first question, FSB registered, guys. You can't get past that. That's one of the most important things. And then secondly, you need to ask for a track record. You know, M5 has got a great track record. We've been around for many years. You know, we can show a track record of how we've paid out investors over the years. You know, it's not just a fund that popped up, a week or two ago, and we're trying to trade now. We've been around. You know, that also gives a lot of credibility. You know, so we've got a database of investors that's invested with us. through the years. And obviously those investors are still investing with us because we're giving them great returns, and they know who they're dealing with. It's all about trust, DJ. Definitely, it's all about trust.
Yeah. Joe, what do we invest in? I mean, the Section 12J itself, even though it's coming to an end within the next 2 weeks. I said that it's coming to an end is because the Section 12J's benefits comes to an end on the 30th of June. Today, we are on the 14th of June. You're literally left with around about 15 days, but I generally said you're left with 10 days because those are the working days that we've got in between. But Joe and I have made ourselves available. We're working slightly longer hours now to make sure that everyone's paperwork is in, and those that needs to be asking questions, their questions are being answered. Our team, we have also bumped up our team to make sure that if you are calling in, you're not missed at all. But the most important thing, Joe, here that I want us to speak to is that what is it that we are investing in? So M5 is a Section 12J. There are a number of things that Section 12Js are allowed to do. One of it is hospitality, agriculture. What else is there? Technology. I think there's about 5 industries.
Well, it's quite a large. It's quite diverse. So Section 12J can actually invest in a lot of different industries. But the difference is that you need to pick the industries that's got an asset underpin. So what we mean by that is, if something were to go wrong, and life being the way it is currently, is that you need to have your capital guaranteed in the type of asset that you invested in. So if you invest in a fund like ours, so what we are offering you is we're offering you an asset underpin, which is property. So property is such a stable investment, really to have in your portfolio. And what we've done is actually we've taken something in property, which is student hospitality or hospitality sector, and we're really generating good returns for our investors. And they've got this comfort that the investment is quite sound and safe for the reason that it's in property. So we chose this industry purely based on the risk factor and the great returns that we can give our investors on a monthly basis. So all those factors to consider. We're not developing any new technologies. We are not taking part in any high-risk investments. Guys, we're keeping it simple when investing in assets that is stable and gives great returns. And that's what, over the long run, that's exactly what you want. You want a fund performing well over the next 30 to 40 years. You don't want something that ends with you get a big spike in performance from the fund and returns, and then suddenly when fashion changes or technology changes, there's a big downside. So we like to keep it simple. Property is the way to go. So anything surrounding property and property itself, that's what we invest in.
Yeah. All right. So for people that are wanting to join us on the investment side, there is a link at the bottom there in the comments, irrespective of where you are watching us from. And you can literally just jump onto that link and make the application to invest. Joe, how much money should there be? The fund, how much, what's the minimum in terms of investing?
Well, the minimum, as you mentioned, it used to be very high. We brought it down to 50,000. So 50,000 is the minimum investment. Obviously, we advise, we recommend the investors to invest as much as possible before the end of June, because the more you invest, the more tax you'll get back. So rather go for it right now and put as much as you can in investment, because you will get back that taxes. If it's not for this year, there will be a rollover for next year and the year after, depends on how much you invested. It's really a great opportunity to not only grow your capital, but also get back your taxes, because at the end of the day, we use your taxes to actually grow your property portfolio.
Sure. And what is the maximum there that one can invest in?
Well, obviously, the government has set a ceiling amount of 2.5 million. So we're not allowed to take in investments above 2.5 million for individuals, and obviously for a company, you can go up to 5 million. Yeah, but mostly we work with individuals. It's very limited. That we work with companies. Really, it's more individuals looking to invest.
Okay, all right, cool. And then Joe, so number one, we're investing in properties. That's what we are investing in. So there's an asset somewhere, there's a property that you're investing into. So the money is never totally lost because there's an asset somewhere. And then on top of that, you're doing student accommodation. So there is actually a business on top of that. And anyone else who would want to invest, you got a minimum of 50,000. You can come through and invest alongside Joe. He's the fund manager, in a maximum of 2.5 million. Have you had people that have come through and invested 2.5 million?
Yeah, teacher, we had a few contracts come through now for 2.5 million. So we're very blessed and thankful for those investors. So obviously we've got great returns planned for them. So we have received some of that. So we're looking forward to the other ones that also want to invest 2.5 million. The benefit for the entire fund is the larger the fund, that's the benefit is to everyone's advantage. It doubles the returns like you wouldn't believe. It's just a real good position to be in. So yes, we did receive quite a few large investments.
Where are you investing in, Joe? Because there's people that invest in properties, and where still investing in RDP houses is still an investment. But there are certain areas where if you do invest, there is no capital appreciation at all. So where are some of these towns where you're investing and you're putting this money in?
Yeah, so we need to consider that. Well, let's start with the banks sort of recognize certain areas to be good investment areas, and what we do is that obviously these guys know what they're talking about, and we do our own research. So we like to buy properties in towns that's got there's a capital growth potential. So currently we've got properties in 5 locations throughout South Africa, so we're talking about Durban here, Cape Town, Johannesburg, Potchefstroom, and I think we're planning some properties in Pretoria as well. So so we only invest in area that's got a growth potential, and obviously there's a high return for our investors. So it should be close to universities, it should be close to main highways. We've got a list of requirements for these properties before we purchase them. So so we don't just jump in. We do our homework just to make sure they're perfect.
Does everyone qualify, Joe, to invest in a Section 12J?
Sorry to say that, TJ, but the answer is no. Not everyone does qualify, for the reason that it's so we need to fill an application in and figure out the individuals.
Right.
So because there's taxes involved in when you're asking the government to pay back your tax monies, they actually have quite a bit of requirements for you to fill in and to supply them with certain information. So what I'm saying is that obviously it's the right thing to do. It's a good thing to do. We all pay tax, but at the end of the day, we would like that tax back. And if we're clever about it and you know how to do it, this is the way to go about it. So we have seen some in the past, some instances where people have not been, not been successful, but it's very limited, and we help those individuals actually through the whole process, step by step, to make sure that the application is correct and they're currently taken into the fund, to allow them to invest. So we do assist. We don't just leave them on their own. Yeah.
Sure. At what point can one withdraw their money, Joe?
Well, you can withdraw dividends. The dividends paid out on a month by month basis. It gets paid out of the fund. But to withdraw your capital, the capital must only be withdrawn after 5 years. And obviously, that's a government's requirement. It's not something we put in place. But what we have found is that in some of the other funds is that the individuals do not leave the fund, rather stay in the fund and collect their monthly income from the investments. But obviously, after 5 years, you can cash in. You can get back your capital plus your growth on top of the capital. Or you can opt to stay in the fund and receive a healthy monthly return paid into your bank account from our investment fund.
What are some of the other benefits that are there, Joe, outside, people just putting in money in here and they get a return? Are there any other benefits that people can realize? I mean, you spoke of number one, the fact that you get a return up to around about 17% that's the return that one can get. The second one is that you are buying in a property, that you're buying a fund that is underpinned by a property, so your risk is low. The third benefit that you also spoke about is the fact that you have a business on top of that property, so the property is not just lying idle, so it guarantees your return on investments. But are there any other benefits that people should be aware of or be comparing apples to apples when they go out there and seeing other funds who are also Section 12J?
Well, TJ, there's another component to the business is that, our students that lives in the student accommodation properties, they come from previously disadvantaged communities. So what we're doing actually is we're helping those students with their accommodation. So we sort of, it's not just a fund where you generate a decent income, but you can feel sleep at night knowing that you're actually helping an individual find a suitable safe room or house to stay in, where he can actually go about to finish his studies in a learning environment. So there's a social benefit as well to the community. And we like these sort of things. We like to build a business where we're not just making money for our investors, but we're also giving back to the community in a sense that we're providing a service better than anyone else and really looking after those students and individuals that comes from these sort of backgrounds. So we like to give back a little. It's not just all about the money.
Yeah. What about people, Joe, that they want to invest today in the Section 12J for student accommodation, and they're thinking, but my child is going to be going into university next year. How best can they benefit from us?
Yeah, so we've got a nice option for our investors where, even if your child goes to university in a year or 5 years' time, even 10 years' time, you can exchange that dividends that was supposed to be paid to you, for the room for your child to stay in. So that the benefit is there. So if you make the investment, you can have a room that's allocated to your child, where they can come and stay for free. Obviously, the dividends is exchanged for being a tenant, and then in that way, they've got a nice safe place to stay, learning environment as we mentioned, and you only made a small investment to be able to use this facility for your child to stay in. So the benefit is there.
Right. Joe, I want to speak to the people that run their own small businesses, and people that are, in a position of they get healthy amounts of monies at different intervals in their businesses, or you get guys that are salespeople and they're getting heavy amounts of monies in intervals. I'll speak of a guy that came through. Ooh, someone brought you some coffee. Ooh, la la. What's going on here?
It's cold, eh?
It is cold, right? I see that. I see that. Bless her soul, the one who brought you some coffee. So you got these guys that are coming in. I'll give you an example. I've got a mate of mine who said, TJ, I want to invest. I've got 3 or 4 deals that are coming up. I'm going to get paid around about 5 million rand coming in, but I don't have the money. I know the money is coming, and I am just thinking that at the moment I have X amount of money. And I asked him how much money does he have, and he said he's got about 300,000. And I then cracked a deal with him, your deal, of getting him into the deal and securing an investment of 2.5 million, but this guy only had 300,000. Joe, you want to talk about how we have managed to secure a deal for a person like that? Because you never know, there could be some people out there who are sitting maybe on 300,000-400,000, and they know that there's some more money that's coming in the couple of months to come, and they are wanting to invest a full 2.5, but that money is not just there right now. How best can we help those guys?
Yeah, so we've got a nice product that we can offer them, which is it's a loan to share agreement. So what that means is that it means that the individual can really take advantage of the fact that we'll issue the full value of the shares to that person, but even though they only have to put down 10% as a minimum. So you know, if you're taking the maximum investment is 2.5 million, and so what we're offering our investors is the option to put down 250,000 in exchange for 2.5 million in shares. So what that means is that your tax money is being paid out next year if you're in the highest tax bracket, will actually put you in a position to pay off your shares year by year on a yearly basis. So we've done a few calculations for our investors where we, as a guide, obviously, they can consult their own tax practitioners or financial planners. But what it comes down to is by only putting down 10% of 2.5 million, they've got this large accumulated tax benefit that they generate with the 2.5 million investment. So they can get back tax rebates for the next 2 to 3 years, depending on what sort of tax bracket they fall under. And that's really how we're helping. So we're talking about large numbers, but obviously just keep in mind it's large numbers spread over a few years, which makes it achievable for most individuals.
I've got a practitioner, not a psychologist. What do you call these guys that help you to recover? Physiotherapist, right? Yeah. I've got a physiotherapist who said to me, TJ, I want to come in. I've got 250,000, and I think I'm going to get some more money in the next couple of months. So I want to do 500,000. Can you loan me something? And I said to them, the benefits to me doesn't make sense for you to do 500,000. And just follow my thinking here, Joe, right? So they have 250 right now, and they want to invest 500,000. And I said to them, but next year, this time, in July or so, SARS is going to give you 45% of the 500,000. What are you going to do with that money? And they said to me, I didn't think about it. So I said, but well, you are a physiotherapist. The more you work, the more you earn. At some point, your body is not going to allow you to work. It's just the nature of the game. Why don't you go and take, right? If I were you, this is what I would have done. I would have taken in this 250 as a deposit, and I'll taken in my 45% that's coming in from SARS. I'll top it up as well, and the other 250 that's coming in, and then boom, I'm very close to $1.5 million, right? In terms of my investment. For the rest of my life, I am going to be having free money coming to me, obviously from the investment, that's passive income. And then they looked at me and then they said, TJ, you're right, man. You're right. You're right. And he said that 4 times to me. And he says, I think we should do it. And I said to him, well, I was not advising you, but I need you to go ahead and think about it. It's an option. Go and see an advisor and someone professional who you trust with your money, and you can come through. But from a mathematical sense, to me, it makes sense like that, because now you are not only getting 500. I mean, you're not only getting in your investment of 500,000, but you're getting an investment of 500,000 plus 45% of that. So, which is coming up just below R1 million. So, on just below R1 million invested in a property, not only do you have a passive income, right? Not only do you also have, so you're having a passive income that's coming from the rental. And then number two, you're also having appreciation on the property itself.
Yeah.
And then if we are buying correctly, you're gaining also on the equity as well, right? And then number four to it, I don't know, I've lost count now. 3, 4, 5, doesn't matter. The next benefit there is that now the property that you're also investing in, the return on investment that I'm promising you on is for this year, the rental income. Next year, the rentals are going to go up. They're going to go up. We have seen a trend of around about 5 to 7%. And if they go up, your money, your returns are also going up. Don't you want to be in this fund? And he says to me, TJ, where have you been? I'm like, I've been around, brother. I've been always here. You just didn't want to connect with me. You don't want your money to be working hard with us, a little bit harder.
Yeah, it's smarter.
It is, right? So Joe, there's lots of people here that we can give examples of, people that are coming into our community now, seeing the benefit of this thing. And I'm just saying that we are not the only Section 12J that there is. Go and do your investigation. Someone else that came through today, Joe, is a wealth manager, and he says to me, are you giving me the best deal? And you know what I said to them, Joe?
I'm listening.
I said, go out there and investigate.
Yeah.
Apples to apples. Anyone who is doing property who's a Section 12J, if they are beating me, I will match whatever that they're giving and plus whatever I have. That's what I said to them.
Yeah. You know what? It's quite a good statement to make, DJ. And I know where you're coming from. You know, we know the other funds out there, and we know how they operate and what sort of percentages they operate at. You know, I feel very comfortable in putting our offering forward, because I know we're giving our investors the best. So we are competitive by nature. So we like to compete and be the best, and obviously we like to give the best to our investors as well. You know, a year or two from now, our investors will turn around and they've got some other friends in the market, and they will discuss percentages, and obviously ours will just be the winner every time, because we have been doing it for many years. We currently are doing it for our investors, and with the added tax benefit that you get back, we just increase our returns quite substantially for our investors.
Awesome stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to wind up and close the session. But if there is any questions, comments that you'd like to make, myself and Joe will still going to be available on this link, even all of the way until tomorrow. So you're welcome to ask questions. What are we here for? We are here to make your money grow in the right senses, within the right structures. It's a Section 12J. You get the benefit of tax. You get the benefit of real estate. You get the benefits of investors that are also investing with you. So, you know, we're not just like the bank. A lot of banks out there, they take your money and invest somewhere. But we are different. We are also still ordinary people in the business. We have a vested interest. We're not just employees. We own the fund with you, right? We own the fund with you, which means that obviously we have a vested interest in it. We've got skin in the game. We're not just there to be working and becoming employees, but there's a bigger picture for us here. Our family's lifestyle is at stake, for as much as your money is at stake, and that's why we do what we do. Any closing comments, Joe? This is the last second week from closing down. I think I want to take this as our last week, Joe. Like, why do you want to wait on the last day to be submitting your stuff? Submit your stuff right now, right?
Yeah.
Because next week, it's just going to be a mess, man.
Yeah, so what's going to happen is, teacher, your inbox and my inbox and everybody in the office, you know, the guys in Cape Town and Johannesburg and Durban, everybody's inboxes will be flooded from next week onwards from investors trying to get into the fund, because, you know, it's the last time that you can get into a fund like this. It doesn't mean the fund comes to an end. It just means that it's the last time to get your foot in the door, to secure your tax rebates. Guys, the fund will still make money. We'll still buy property a year, 2 years, 3 years, 10 years, 50 years from now. We'll still buy property in the fund, and we'll only buy property that makes money. But the reason why we're saying the fund closes is because the tax rebate initiative, or that what makes the fund a very special fund to invest in, is really the tax rebates, because it just increases your returns, considerably. It closes in 2 weeks' time. So, guys, if you want to get back your taxes, it doesn't need to end up with government. It can end up in your pocket. Go for it. Go be part of the fund. Send us your information. We're willing to assist you with filling in the forms. We're willing to assist you with anything down the road. Obviously, we'll give you some attention to make sure everything is just perfect, and we'll accommodate you. But then you need to send us your information, and you need to do it as quickly as possible so we can help you.
I am not happy, Joe, to be helping people next week, Thursday, Friday. I'm not happy doing that because we are very organized people, and I like to work with organized people as well. If you know your money is coming in next week, do the paperwork now, and then just send the proof of payment later. So get all the stuff that needs to be getting out of the way. Do it now so that we are not rushed to be saying, we're not so sure whether did you sign? No, we're not so sure. No, but I sent you that version. Did you not? Lastminute.com doesn't work, guys. So let's get all of our paperwork. Let's assume this thing is closing Friday. Okay? And then next week, we are busy sorting out your FICA and all of those other stuff that needs to be brought in. But for now, I'm going to leave you. Thanks very much for listening to me and Joe. And happy investing. We'll see you on the next video.
Thank you, everyone.